Coming up next on BBC Two, it's the Brad Woto stream, but first, it's time for What Picture Has Bradley Drawn Onto a Piece of Paper?
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to guess what he draw. What do you think I drew on a piece of paper for you today? Let's see if we can guess what it was. A blood-sucking fiend. What is this? My ex-wife. Blue eyes, white dragon. Luffy, a meme. Could it be a meme? Any suggestions from the chat? What do you think I drew on a piece of paper for you today? I drew something. Waka. Perry Grimm took. Ekans. Or did he graffiti over yesterday's drawing of a goblin? What did he draw? Can he guess what he drew? What did he draw? Chat? Graffitied over yesterday's drawing of a goblin. You think so little of me. That I would deface my own artwork? What you think I would do? I didn't have much time. Okay? I didn't have much time. I was cutting my own hair. Brad, why don't you just get a haircut? I'm not allowed. The doctor won't let me go outside. I was cutting my own back of my hair. If you can't tell. Okay, I butchered it. It's a mess. Don't judge me. Lest ye cast the first stone, who hath not tried to cut their own hair and ruined it. Hard, man. Cutting the back of your head is hard, dude. It's hard to do. Got this arm. Now, this is pretty grim, but sometimes my right arm gets real dirty. Because I'm just dragging it along this desk all day. I don't notice it until I feel it. And now I'm like, now I need to clean every inch of my body. Q Margie, hi my friend. Thank you for the 47-monther. It's dangerous to go outside. Take this. It is dangerous outside. It's very warm out today. I think it's meant to, what is it, hitting 30 today or something? Luckily, oh, it's 34 degrees. Now, that's pretty hot, dude. What was the 33 where you are? 34 where I am, I win. I'm in more pain, I win. Yeah, I'm lucky enough I'm able to get a little bit of a breeze through my window up here on the top floor, on the top of the world. Got 2 fans going at the moment, and we'll see how long they last before I'm fucking burned alive. Dragon's fire. That's super hot for the UK, yeah. Plus, bear in mind, we have a humidity issue as well. I know everyone in America is always like, that's not even that hot, you know, in other countries. And it's like, yeah, okay, in your dry heat that anyone could withstand. I could withstand triple this in the dry heat. Add humidity to it and it becomes fucking miserable. And that's what we get. We get this horrible, humid fucking bullshit. No one has AC. Because there's no point. We only need it for a month, but that month is bloody awful. You go outside, you burn. You stay indoors, you melt. It's fucking awful. It's awful. People in Florida, people in Louisiana apparently are the ones that understand. If you go to Louisiana and go into a house that has no aircon and is designed to keep heat in, like a thermos flask of a house, then you will understand. It's awful. It's not right. Because this country is just not built around it at all, so it's just grueling. There's nothing more annoying than Americans talking to you about the heat. I beat them to it this time. When the sun bubbles the paint on the cars. Is that what's happening out there? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Me and Liam have just went outside for a midday walk and it was warm. I came home, I took off all my clothes and sat in front of this fan with it on maximum power for the last 15 minutes. And then I was like, okay, I've got to start the stream. And as much as Toodlehausen wishes that I had started the stream with no clothes on, I figured it was probably not worth doing to traumatize the rest of you. This is the funniest meme I've seen all day, by the way. Holy shit, that's hilarious. That's fucking hilarious, dude. I watched that clip again of that girl talking to the other girl about how she thinks she's a musician. I still can't tell if it's fake or real. This one.
That's amazing. I didn't know that about you.
What do you know?
That you're a musician. But that's why I'm interviewing you today, so I can get to know you.
So I'm a musician. Mm-hmm. What the fuck that mean? Make magic or something? What is musician?
I think that's...
I mean, first of all, like it was written, it's like a scene from like Veep or from fucking, you know, a
I think
TV
you're
show.
confusing that.
Getting a magician confused with musician and it wasn't written by a comedy writer is unbelievable.
That's amazing.
This is what happens if you're stuck up and dumb.
I didn't know that about you.
What do you know?
That you're a musician. But that's why I'm interviewing you today, so I can get to know you.
So I'm a musician. Mm-hmm. What the fuck that mean? Make magic or something? What is musician?
I think you're confusing that.
Yeah, I'm not no musician. I make music. I make music. And that's not all I do. I make music, I act. I'm a
taking it
TV
so
star
personally.
Too.
This is what happens if you have trying to have a conversation with Orkish. Trying to have a conversation with Orkish and he takes something personally.
Young mogul.
Just really quick, I think you're confusing.
I'm not confusing nothing because you don't know. You thought that all I was a magician.
Cannot handle
or
being wrong. It's me on stream. Me on stream cannot handle being wrong.
But you said.
See, that's what I think you think I said.
No,
I said musician, not magician.
I don't think, baby. I don't think. What is that? That's ghetto. I don't think. I know.
So you
think.
I didn't say magician, Suki. I said musician.
Everything about it is hilarious.
And I think you are a musician.
No, baby. I do music.
So you just really quick for the record, could you say you don't think you're a musician?
I'm not none of that.
But then after that, you just said I do music.
Yeah, I do music.
So in other words, you're a musician.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
It can't be real, dude. Do dogs have brains levels of the dumbest people alive? Make the dumbest people alive rich and famous. That's what we're gonna do. Huh? Why? Why would we do that? Can we reward anyone who deserves to be rewarded with anything? No. Make the dumbest people alive rich and famous. Oh, it's like it's written, dude. You know? I don't think I know. Thinks a musician is a magician. But I also just don't believe her. I think it might be fake. But it's still hilarious. I mean, either way. Either way, hilarious. An Arrested Development scene, you know what I mean? Incredible work. I don't know who that is, by the way. I know the other one, the girl that's interviewing her. She's in everything, but she's famous for just being real deadpan or whatever, but hilarious. Forgot that had taste to it. You ever do that? Anyone else just drink nothing but water now? The only thing I do is drink water. And obviously every now and then I'll drink something different. Maybe I'll have a coffee. But I have these like salt things. You sweat a lot, drink an electrolyte drink. So I put these little salt electrolyte things in the water. And every now and then I take a sip. It tastes like strawberries. But I wasn't expecting it, so now I don't know what's happening. My brain doesn't know what's going on. When you think it's going to be water. Orcish. I'm not a streamer, but I do streams. Taking it so personal. You get so offended by it. It's hilarious. What a dum-dum. She's a big dum-dum. She's a big dum-dum. So today I thought we could do a game vote. I want to play Slay the Princess, but I need to know something about it first. Is it going to break my heart? I don't think I can handle it. You know what I want to play? Space Marine 2. Do I though? You tell me. And don't say yes, play it if you like it as a game. Only if you think I would like it. Because honestly, I think it looks fun. But I feel like I probably want to play Space Marine 1, right? Do I own that game? Space Marine. No. Space Marine. Oh, Space Marine 2 is £54. Space Marine 1 Anniversary Edition, £40. Oh no, I do own it. But this came out in 2011, which is a bit of a problem, isn't it? Such a boy game, dude. This is a Retrosphere game. It looks like a boy game. No one will watch it. Lux will leave. Toodle's out of here straight away. I'd have to rely on the boys. It'd just be me and Shadow. I do own it though. Maybe
Greetings, Space Marine
Jesus.
recruit.
Yes.
You are accessing Codex entry, Power Axe.
The most fucking 1990s written script. Greetings, Space Marine recruit. You are accessing Codex entry Power Axe. Something me and Liam would have written in 2011. Incredible. Not done a vote for a while. I think we did one a week ago. Someone hasn't been paying attention. Have you seen Mecha Break? Beta release group Mech Combat. JJ, what have I told you? I would have thought if you were going to do 40k, you'd do Rogue Trader. I don't mind the look of that, but I don't know what it is, and it seems very neurodivergent. I don't have a better word for it, and I'm very sorry. I don't mean that in any offensive way whatsoever, maybe a little bit, but it is one of those games that just feels like there's like lots of meticulous elements to it that require you to like really pay attention, and if you don't, it will punish you for it, which a lot of people who are neurodivergent enjoy, and a lot of people think I'm neurodivergent. Maybe I am, but I don't enjoy that element of gameplay. Sometimes I don't. It annoys me that you get so far. It's why I want to play Total War Warhammer, but then I get annoyed. You won't like Rogue Trader, it's too long. Yeah. The Pathfinder video game, except it's Warhammer. Yeah, I like the Pathfinder video game. I really like it, but it is 750,000 hours too long. Rogue Trader. Willkommen to Steam. And I say this for your benefit, people, neurodivergent people. You don't know what it's like to not be neurodivergent, so I have to tell you. Again, I'm not saying this to upset you. I'm not saying this to be offensive for a shock value piece of low-hanging fruit comedy. I'm just telling you so that you know. It's a piece of information.
Now I must take up their mantle.
Okay, theory of games?
Restore the dynasty.
That was a low-hanging fruit piece of comedy.
To reclaim what humanity has lost.
I mean, there's a big part of me that does like the look of this. Don't get me wrong.
To the uncharted void.
But I know I'll start playing it, I'll get frustrated, I'm too stupid, and it won't, you know. Like, this all looks amazing. This looks great. The XCOM element looks great. But I know that I'm too dumb for it.
All must be cleansed in his name. The choices I make.
If you motherfuckers would just show up and watch all of my streams, I could play what I wanted. But you won't. So now I have to fucking pick and choose games that will actually not kill me to play. Rogue Trader. Honestly, the worst name of all time. I understand that what the reference is. I actually understand this because Sheepdog explained it to me a long time ago. I understand that Rogue Trader is a thing within the Warhammer universe. And that's what it's referencing. But if you don't know that, Rogue Trader does not sound exciting, does it? It doesn't sound like that kind of game. It sounds like you're going to be playing Stardew Valley. It sounds like you're going to be playing the Stardew Valley clone that we almost played the other week. Tavern Simulator. Tavern Simulator. Loop Hero is currently free on Amazon Prime. Pisses me off, paid for it a week ago. I bought the Wolfenstein games. They were on offer. It was a tenner for all of the Wolfenstein games, so I got those. They exist for us. Uller.
I've been waiting for this day.
Thank you for the 75 months. Damn, boy. Thank you, my friend. I'm playing Troubleshooter, an XCOM from Korea. Oh yeah, this one. Yeah, you told me about this. Worst voice acting you've ever heard in your entire life. Is there English voice acting?
넌 내 기억에서 지우도록 하지.
soul, you know what I mean? Jazz. Imagine. Just English subtitles. Alright, well, can't play it then. You know what pisses me off? Started a new season of Game of Thrones, and I'm watching it on a service called Now TV, which I've been paying for many years, and have never used once. Didn't even know I was paying for it. And then decided to watch Game of Thrones and was like, whoa, fuck it, I'm paying for this fucking bullshit service, I might as well watch it on this service. Click play, start watching it, no subtitles on season 4. I can't hear what they're saying if the TV show doesn't have subtitles. Does anyone watch everything with subtitles here? Because I watch everything with subtitles, English or not. I have to have subtitles on. I can't fucking hear what they're saying. I can't speak English. It's the weirdest thing. If you turn them subs off, I don't know what the fuck is happening. Tried watching the first episode this morning, Conduit. Had no idea. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of hoping it's just the first episode by like some weird glitch. If it's the whole season or if it's the rest of the seasons, I'm fucked. Literally got no idea what to do about it. I'm going to have to sit and watch it here with headphones on in the blistering heat. I guess I'll have to try and figure out if I can connect my earbuds to my laptop and I'll just watch it on a laptop in my house like I'm in a fucking hotel. You know when you're in a hotel for one night and you've got the laptop on the bed and you're fucking sitting there and you're in the fucking dressing gown eating Doritos, watching something on a laptop. That's going to be me watching 4 seasons of fucking Game of Thrones in my own house because I literally cannot understand a word they're saying without subtitles. So I need I'll have to put headphones on so I can hear their words in my brain. I don't know how to do. Me claiming I'm not neurodivergent, by the way, at the beginning of the stream, just so we're all aware. I can't hear what you're saying unless you have subtitles or the words are going directly into my brain. It's too warm, man. It's too warm today. I haven't had enough sleep for fucking, I think, 10 weeks. Hi, C Stang. Thanks for the 84 months, friend. Good to see you. King in the North. B Borge, thank you for the 70 as well. Did I thank you? I don't know. I thank you. Can you connect Bluetooth but headphones to TV? Well, you know what I've not thought about, JJ. You're a fucking genius, you are. Let me tell you. I didn't think of doing that. He's a bloody genius, that one. Annoyingly, my TV is a computer, so I could do it. What I could do is connect headphones from the output port. Not these ones, because these are Bluetooth and I'd have to set up the whole thing, but I could just put normal headphones in and connect them and run a wire all the way across to my sofa and sit there in the most insane way watching TV like that. But it would have to be wired ones, and I want to listen. I want little earbuds in, not a wired set of headphones that drive me nuts. I use my TV as a monitor for my PC. Well, thanks for letting us know, Mushy. Thanks so much for letting us know. What do you think of true love, Bradley? I think it's a very large question that you're asking me, but I'll answer it if you genuinely want me to. I think some people don't understand what love. I think most people don't understand what love is. I think love is a lot of different things. I don't think it's any of this shit that gets poured into your brain by Hollywood of people like meet cuting in a coffee place and they go through a whole story arc and, you know, they fall in love and then they fall out a little bit and then they come back together and they figure everything out, and it's like a love at first sight thing. I do think that can happen, but I think there's more to it. I think that love is a lot of different elements. I think love is building something together, and you build stuff together, and you grow together, and you trust one another. I think love is mostly trust. It took me a long time to figure that out, but I think love is mostly trust. I think you have to honestly trust someone, be able to like fall off of a fucking building knowing that they will catch you at the bottom. And I think most people can't do that. I think most people are very incapable of true trust, for lots of different reasons, a variety of different reasons. But I think that's the case. I think when you love someone, I think if it's love between two people that fall in love, that's obviously going to be different to things like familial love, like the way that you love your kids or your parents or your family, the way that you might love a friend, the way that you might love a dog or a fucking cat or something like that. I think those are all different types of love. But I think love is a thing that is very difficult to truly achieve. I think it's extremely rare. I think it's very precious. And I think most people ignore a lot of the elements that go into what true love is. I think I've been in love 3 times in my life. And I think one of those was like a little puppy love, you know, that was always going to be destined to fail. I think everyone falls in love once in a way that will most likely be destined to fail. You'll be a child and you will just fucking hopelessly fall in love with someone. I guess this is my experience. I'm projecting a little bit now as we move away from my objective understanding of what love is. Hopelessly fall in love with someone who will destroy you. And I think and then I had a second love, and I was a bit older, but I ruined that one. As I was a petulant young man, and like I said, most people don't know what love is. Love is trust, and love is building stuff. And I think I trusted the person that I loved, and I think they trusted me, and I think they shouldn't have done. And I think I destroyed and butchered that second love with my own childish, petulant man-child ways, because I was a broken young man. I was in my late teens and early 20s, and I butchered that relationship because I wasn't ready and I needed a lot more time. And I'm still not really over a lot of the things that happened to me as a child, but I think I was rebelling too much, and I think I was in a terrible place to be able to truly appreciate what that precious love was. And I ruined that relationship. And then I've been in love again since then. And that was a great relationship. That was a relationship that lasted a long time. And that relationship taught me what true love is, and what true love can bring you, and what you can build and grow personally when you actually have someone that you trust and love, and is in the same place as you, and is in the same mental place as you, is in the same emotional place as you, and is a respectful and independent person in as much as they need to be, and they aren't draining you in some way. And that you can sit and you can help each other where each other needs help, and you can give each other space when each other needs space, and that allows you to grow as people, and that respect and that boundary and that trust, not to just be sitting there panicking all the time. Oh my god, are you texting? Who did you look at her? You know, all that kind of stuff. You just get rid of all of that and just have a good time and enjoy each other's company, grow as people. That's what true love is, man. And that relationship made me a much better person. I like to think it made her a better person. Ultimately, the relationship is over, but the love was still there. The love is still there. And that taught me what love was. And love is trust, and love is growth, and love is respect, and love is building something together, and not just all this bullshit where you write these stories about what love is, and you know, kissing and lust and situationships and things. It's a two-way street, and that is what love is. I think, but I don't know if any of that made sense. But I tried to be open and honest with you in that answer. That's what love is, I think. Finding it, don't know. You know, recognizing it, a lot of that comes down to who you are as a person, and a lot of it comes down to your situation and all that kind of thing. But learning what it is very important, I think. Beauty and the Beast taught me what love is. It's Stockholm Syndrome. I think that's what it is for a lot of people. I think people think that's what it is. I think people are in relationships where they think they love the other person and they stay together for a really long time. And they stay together longer than they should, and they just get stuck in codependency, and they fall in love with one person, and then those two people grow and change and want different things. But it's terrifying and it's scary to admit that and to move away from that and things like that. And I think most people are in these horrible relationships where they're actually not in love. And I see most people in relationships, when I see them and I watch the way they interact with each other and interface with the world, and they just seem miserable, and like a lot of their jokes are about how much they hate each other, and I'm like, oh God, I never want that. I'm much happier alone. I know that I spend a lot of time memeing and joking, and I spend a lot of time not memeing and joking about how, you know, I'm a very depressed and anxious man. I have a lot of me is broken, and I think in an irreparable way. But I think once you know and respect what love can be and what a relationship can be in that way, it sort of gives you a lot of perspective, I think. And for me, I have a lot of perspective now on what I would like from a relationship, and that is £200 a month towards the rent, and that's it. Everything else I don't care about. Heinlein said, love is the condition wherein another person's happiness is essential to your own. Yeah, I would believe that to be the case. I'm very much in agreement with that. I don't think that's all it is, but I do think it's an important element. If both of you are happy, I mean, what more is there? You know, you're fulfilling each other's desires, but not just desires, but, you know, life desires and will. Yeah, that'll give you a lot to wake up for in the morning. Love. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm the expert. I don't think I'm necessarily the most loving, caring and giving person. I think I get wrapped up in my own head, and I will question a lot of decisions I make, and I will question a lot of choices I make, and sometimes I will question a lot of things to the point where really it does more damage than good for relationships and stuff like that. But I do know that what I cherished about several relationships I've been in throughout my life is a lot of the time is stuff that I don't see in other relationships that other people have. And you can't always know everything going on behind closed doors, and you don't know. Sometimes people are presenting one thing publicly and another thing not. But I see a lot of most relationships just seem like almost like business contracts at this point. They're just these hollow, dull nothingnesses. People become roommates. They just become brother and sister and live in the same house for a long time, and ultimately they become kind of bitter and blamey, and they kind of judge each other, and their lives become dull and monotone, and they blame each other for it. And I think that becomes like a standard. And I see this standard for relationships on the one hand being that, or it's this like weird Hollywood thing where you'll speak to people and the things that they expect from relationships are absolutely insane, because they think their life is a Hollywood movie, because they think that the things that you've been fed from an hour and a half fucking romantic comedy is something that you could possibly expect from real life. Or even all these fucking girls that are watching Friends and shit, and you're like, dude, chill. You ain't getting the fucking relationship that fucking Pam and What's It have in The Office. It just doesn't exist. There's so much more to it. There's a bunch of logistical elements to this. And I think in general, you know, if you're looking at cis relationships, which are predominantly what I've been in, guys come from a very logic-based and logistical place, and girls tend to come from a more sentimental or emotional place. Not meaning they're going for, not that women are emotional or anything, but I do think that when you have the understanding that it's a little give and take, right? You need to men need to be more sentimental. They need to understand that side of some. Well, I suppose not necessarily all men, but I do think this is a very easy way to put this through. It doesn't always work out this way, and it doesn't mean that it applies to you, and it doesn't mean that if you are, you know, male presenting and you think one way, that it's wrong or anything. But men do seem to think that everything is very logic based, and you really do need to put more stock into being sentimental and look at what makes your partner happy, and if it isn't logical, it doesn't matter. You have to go into that fucking Alice in Wonderland place and figure out what illogical bullshit works, and you need to bring 50% of that, and then, you know, the other person in a relationship needs to look at what's logical and understand that these Hallmark movies aren't real, and you know, it's not just all going to be like roses and fucking date nights and stuff, and that sometimes your man's just tired because he got home late and he's had to work really hard and he's paying the fucking bills, and you know, that kind of shit that starts these petty ruptures. It's kind of hard for me to talk about because, I mean, my last relationship was pretty good. We didn't run into a lot of those problems. We had a pretty good understanding of one another for most of that relationship. I think our only problem, I think we had several problems. It's not like we had a perfect run or anything, but when I compare it to what I see other people go through, it was pretty good, pretty fucking good. And I look at what things we could have done to improve it. I honestly don't think anything could have saved our relationship. It wasn't like it was a doomed situation. But I think there are elements that might have bought us some more time, or maybe it would have done it. You never know with these things, but the only real problems I think we had is that sometimes we wouldn't communicate very well. Sometimes we wouldn't communicate about the real shit because it's easier. We're both head barriers. And we would just rather not face the reality of having to have an awkward conversation, and we would miss a lot of those. And I think that probably was one of our main problems as a couple. I'd love to be better at that, but ultimately I think it's a flaw in my personality that I will always struggle with confronting awkward conversations, and having those kinds of communication issues will often arise in relationships that I have, and problems around that. I'd love to be in a relationship with someone who will put me to task over that, but then you run into another problem where that person becomes your parent, that person becomes your teacher, and that person has to keep stringing you up, and you don't really want that. You want it to be a mutual thing, but I think it's just, there's a compromise that I think someone would potentially have to have with me, where they just have to be like, look, he's going to bury his head, but if I just bring him in, to just force him to look at this and have a conversation about it, I will eventually. If I'm in the conversation, I'll have an open conversation, but I very rarely start them. And I think we both were like that in my last relationship, and so I think that was one of our problems. I think that our main problem is that we got together, we were young, and we were in love and silly and messing around, but we were both kind of figuring out who we were, and then we allowed each other the space to figure out who we were. And when we figured out who we were, because we were in such a good relationship, and because we respected each other, and we gave each other space and room to grow, and then supported each other when each other needed support, to give each other the space to grow and stuff, we grew as people. We genuinely grew into better, more mature and different people. And although we still have personalities that click, we sort of just grew out of each other in a way. And so we changed as people. And so really that was the I can name a couple of other things that I think probably crippled our relationship here and there, but for the most part I would say communication issues, a little bit, and probably not communicating these things. And then also we were so good for each other that we outgrew each other. And we changed as people, you know, we became slightly different people. And then eventually we had I think the respect to acknowledge that. And rather than it be this big fucking, you know, hoo-ha about you did this and I hate you and you ruined my life and, you know, all this kind of stuff, we just went, fuck it, let's pack it in. We had a good run. I saw a quote, not a quote, but I saw something that said, man, oh God, I wish I could remember the quotes and stuff. You ever see people that can quote things and you're like, oh, you bastard. I wish I could quote things perfectly. I don't have good information recall. But they said that don't think of the relationship as ended. You have to think of it as like finished or something like that. Fuck, what was it? As complete. That was the answer. Don't think of the relationship as having ended. Think of it as it being complete. That's the quote. And I thought about that quite a lot. That's a nice quote. If you break up with someone and you become a better person because of that relationship, they've become a better person because of that relationship, and you've changed and grown, and then you respect each other enough to go, okay, we could force this and we could stay in the same house and we could stay in the relationship and we could maybe try and figure out some stuff. We might be able to go and do therapies, or we might be able to do this and that and the other. But actually, if you just think of it as complete, it actually takes a lot of the sting out of that relationship ending. Yeah, and I've never really had too much of a problem with the end of my relationship with Emma, and I'm genuinely a better person for having known her and being in a relationship with her, regardless of the very, very minor problems we had. We almost never argued. I don't know if we ever had an argument, even when we went through some rough shit. We had a couple of things that I think people would have argued over for years, and we didn't argue about them. There were times, I think, you know, in any relationship when you hurt one another and you people do things and you do little stupid things, and I suppose you mess up and you do stuff to just fuck each other over, and you're never doing anything intentionally to hurt one another, but we had little moments, but we didn't argue over them, which I'm very grateful for. It's very nice to be in a relationship with somebody where you don't argue. And we would sulk and we would be out of sorts with each other for weeks and stuff, but for the most part we didn't really have anything like that going on. It was a good relationship. It really was. I'm definitely a better person for having been in it. I could have done with my bank finances being better off from that relationship. Ultimately, the worst thing to come out of that relationship for me is that I didn't have a two-person income for 10 years throughout my 30s, my late 20s and early 30s. And I paid for everything. And so when I look around me at other people that are my age that are buying houses and they've got all this stuff, and I look at them and I'm like, how are you affording all of this? And I recognize that the pattern seems to be a two-person income. Two people have been paying for something since their early 20s, and they've been paying off a mortgage together, and I didn't do that. I paid for almost everything for the majority of that relationship, and that has fucked me. That has fucked me irreparably. And I suppose I could be bitter and annoyed about that, and I could take it out and I could blame Emma for it, but I don't. Not really. I can. And sometimes I do. Sometimes in the dark of the night, I'm like, this bitch, I'll find her and I'll take her teeth out of her head. But I don't really. Deeply, I don't feel like that because I take responsibility for my own choices in life. And it was my choice to make. It's fun to let it out and it's fun to muse over it. And it's cathartic sometimes to joke about. But that's really probably the only truly detrimental thing to come out of that relationship is my bank account and finances being crippled because I was in a relationship that I believed would last forever because of it's just natural. It's what you think when you're in a relationship, right? You think you're going to be together forever, especially in the early years. And I thought you sort of think everything will come around and work out and you're working towards something and you're building something together, and we were, but we also eventually got to the point where both two adults looked at what we had and said, I think we'd be better off apart at this point. I think we're just both depressed and just not, there's nothing here. The relationship was complete. So yeah, that is that's the thing. And if I got into another relationship, it would be interesting. I would like to be in a relationship with someone who was a bit more confident in communicating with me or forcing me to communicate. Not forcing me, but maybe more confident in bringing something up in conversation and bringing it to my attention. If I don't take it personally if somebody, if in that relationship Emma had been like, look, I hate it when you do this and I hate it when you do this and it's annoying that you say this thing, but actually I do this and I do this, and that kind of conversation that you have, I will think that stuff, but I think it's people pleasing, to be honest. I think I don't like bringing up conversations like that in any facet of my life. Any relationship with friends, family, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever. I don't like bringing it up because I just think that they're going to hate me at the end of it. I think it's going to cause an argument, and if I start an argument with someone, they will hate me and leave me forever, because that's how my broken brain works. If I have any contention with people, if there is any friction, they hate me. 100%, it's a full absolute. And then you see people who have much healthier mental health brains, and they will just have arguments with people, and then they hash it out, they air it out, and 24 hours later they're friends and fine. And I'm like, what? But if I have an argument with someone, they hate me forever at the end of it. No, that's not the case. And actually, sometimes arguments are very healthy because you air out some stuff and you get some stuff off your chest. But I can't do it. And I believe that having strong, healthy communication equates in my brain to an argument, because that's what it would have been in my household growing up. If I had questioned anything my parents did, they would take it immediately, emotionally and personally, and I would be punished for it. So I struggle very much with it. The logical and adult side of my brain understands it, but the child in me that is constantly reacting, and I don't have full control over what part of me is driving the fucking bus sometimes. Sometimes it's a little child who's hurt and crying. Sometimes it's a rebellious teenager who's saying the thing that I shouldn't say. And sometimes it's the adult who's fucking making sure my taxes are getting done. That's so that it becomes a problem in a lot of relationships. I struggle very much to communicate openly when it might be something that the other person might not want to hear. And it's a problem. It's a problem. And I think Emma had the same thing for different reasons. So the two of us would very rarely communicate about stuff that needed to be communicated about. It would normally be brought up by me, but I'd be at a breaking point. We'd get to a point where I've spent a year like, I need to talk about the fact that we need to do this. And I would like snap, and then it would just be a really stressful conversation rather than one that we could have had 2 years ago. In a normal, we could have just been watching TV and eating dinner and had this conversation and then just moved on with our lives. And instead it kind of becomes a problem and it festers, and God, I wish I could be better at it. So I'd love to be in a relationship with someone who was good at that, and I guess would teach me that I can have conversations with people that might be difficult conversations, but doesn't immediately end a relationship with them. But I've never been exposed to it. I've never really been in a relationship like that. As healthy as my last relationship was, I would say one of our major problems would have been something like communication on those subjects and things. You know, Emma's like ADHD as shit, so she doesn't even know. She's just warping through time. 6 months, 3 more months. You know, now it's been a year. Because that's just how ADHD brain works, and I'm bury my head because if I don't think about it, it's not real. Yeah. So I mean, you know, towards the end of our relationship, it was a lot more like that. Let's see what you guys were writing here. I've been married 4 years and with my partner for 16 years, and alone time is important. My wife is clingy but understands I need time on my own. Yeah, I mean, there you go. She understands it, and she trusts that. The trust element there that I keep coming back to, that's important, is so important, is that she understands that it's not about her. She doesn't take it personally. Which I think is a problem for a lot of relationships that I see. Everyone's taking everything as a slight. It's like prison rules where everything you say is taken personally. If you trust each other enough that you can say to her, look, I need alone time. It is nothing to do with you. It's how my brain is wired. I need to just go over here and paint a mini. And she accepts that, even if she would rather spend time with you and spend all of her time being clingy and stuff. If she understands that and you understand that, then there's never a problem, and it won't become a problem. You won't argue about it. It won't drive a wedge between you. It won't drive you apart. You deserve better, Brad. I deserve better than what? What are we talking about here? I'm not in a relationship. I should have done better. I could have done better is a pit to fall into. Yeah, I don't really feel like that with my last relationship. I definitely feel like it about other relationships I've been in. Predominantly the 3 main relationships that I've been in my life. The 2 long-term relationships that I've been in. The first of those 2, the one that I mentioned earlier on, was entirely, I butchered it. And it's entirely on me, and I carry a weight of guilt on me forever. Marriage material wife in my early 20s. Type situation. I can shoulda, woulda, coulda that into the fucking ground. And I it's not really me beating myself up. It's just legit. 100%. We're both young and both stupid, and you know what I mean. Yeah, brutal. The only way I've gotten better at those chats is brute forcing exposure therapy. Yeah, I would like to be in a relationship with someone who can do those conversations, who will just make that commonplace. So long as it wasn't a thing that was uncomfortable for them to do. You know what I mean? Like constantly having to drag me into one of these conversations, kicking and screaming. Which isn't really what I'm saying. It's not what I'm like. I will just ignore it. But if you bring it up, I'll talk about it. And then after some time, maybe I'll be able to do it myself. But I've just never been in a relationship with someone who's able to do that. Really. There's someone out there who goes over what you just said and says, I know exactly who that person is. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Would flatmates be an option? Yeah, it would. It would. That's the other way around, isn't it? But it's still like, I mean, what am I going to find a roommate and we both buy a mortgage together? How does that work? What if my roommate gets married? Ultimately, I've fucked everything up because I got into a relationship with someone who didn't have a fucking job. And that was my choice. It was a decision I made. I made the choice and said, I will fucking look after you. They got sick at one point, and I was like, I'll keep looking after you. Don't worry about it. You just make sure that you figure out how to keep yourself alive for a long time. They got diagnosed with something that was a long-term, like forever illness. And I said, you figure that shit out so that you don't go blind at 36. And I'll pay for everything. So it made it even more difficult. And then I paid for absolutely everything. And then we split up. So I don't have any savings. I spent all of my savings on a partner who's no longer here. So all of that money that I would have saved on all of that stuff never got invested into a mortgage. It never got invested into an ISA. It just got spent. And it's crippled me as I approach 40. And it's just a debt that I cannot recover from. I had other debts that were my fault, and that relationship isn't the singular only thing. I had a lot of debt carried over from how insane I was as a child and as a teenager and as a young man in my early 20s. I spent a lot of money on things like drugs. I had credit card debts and things. And I had to pay off all of that stuff. University things, which I did. I worked really, really, really hard. I really burned myself out for several years, working like 16 hours a day, just working the whole time from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed. And that probably had a detrimental effect on my relationship as well. But I needed to pay off all of my shit. I needed to pay off all of her shit. I needed to pay rent. I needed to pay for food. I had to pay for absolutely fucking everything for a decade. And I did. I cleared my own debts. But I didn't save anything. I didn't get the chance to save anything. You know. And I'm working a weird job. It's not like I'm working a traditional job somewhere where I'm getting pay rises every year, or I'm, moving up a corporate ladder or something. I'm working this weird freelance job where I work for myself in varying different ways. Now, currently, it's this, but it's been other jobs that are the same thing. And being self-employed is its own struggle financially. There are different ways to go about it, and sometimes you earn more money and sometimes you don't, and that's the other problem, is that some years I would earn a good amount of money and some years I earn a bad amount of money. Like the last few years I've earned fucking no money at all. I just am not making any money at all. I'm not making enough to be able to save properly, and I'm having to figure out ways to do that. For example, today I'm going to eat the last of the chili I made 4 days ago. But that chili cost me £10 to make. Liam told me a recipe for how to make chili, the ingredients. I bought all the ingredients for £10, and I've only spent £10 on food for the last few days, apart from I had to go and buy milk a couple of times. I need to go and do that again today, and it's pissed me off that I didn't do it this morning. But today I'm going to eat some absolutely fucking rotten, disgusting chili. It's not leftovers, because I made it as a batch with this intention. Leftovers is disgusting, and I would never eat leftovers. But I have to live. I'm living like I'm still 20. There's a lot of upsides to it. But financially, all downsides. All downsides. The difficulty of discerning what conversations need to be had and what don't. Yeah, let the small things go. I mean, I let all the small things go anyway. The fear also gets worse when you're with a partner who lashes out or blows up at criticism. Yeah, I mean, I've not had a relationship like that, really. I was with Emma for 10 years. Before that, I was with a girl who I was in a relationship with for a year, but it wasn't much of a relationship. It was like it was a fling. She was more into it than I was. I didn't really want to be in it, but I kind of backed myself into a corner and was stuck in this relationship that I didn't really want to be in. I made some terrible decisions. I was continuing to make terrible decisions, but I was 22. or 23. I was having one of the worst years of my life. And I kind of fell into a relationship with a girl that I was with. She was lovely. She was a lovely person. She was hot, unbelievably hot. Like proper, like classic pinup. Like she was like blonde hair, big tits, hot. She had the most amazing back I've ever seen in my entire life. I didn't realize backs could be attractive until I was in this relationship with this girl. Truly, just unbelievably gorgeous. Like punching so. I've punched so far above my weight several times in my life. I don't know how. Funny, maybe. But I wasn't into her as much as she was into me, really. And at the end of that, I recognized eventually that, you know, she was starting to like really think about our lives together, and she was, you know, I could see that she was daydreaming about marriage and kids and stuff, and I just was like, nah. So I got out of that relationship, and it was pretty rough, man. It was hard. I think it might be the only time I've ever broken up with someone myself. Not sure. I've been in a few little, like, you know, when you get into relationships for 3 months and you realize it was kind of lust. It's a very young person thing to do. All of my relationships were a young person thing because I've been in a relationship for a decade, so I've grown and changed so much in that time. I've been out of a relationship now for 2 years, or longer, or 2. I don't know. On top of that, and that's changed me. I've grown a lot in this time as well. But yeah, I was with a girl for a while, and I broke up with her because I knew that she wasn't the one for me. And I didn't really want to be in that relationship. The girl I was with before then was incredible. She was a great person, absolute marriage material. You know, if I would love to see an alternate reality in which I was less of a dickhead, I was less traumatized and less fucked up and less drug-addled and less everything. You know, maybe my dad was less of a prick and my mum was less scary and less traumatized herself. And maybe I was brought up and a little more stable. And I got into that same relationship because I don't know. I can see a version of my life where me and that girl had stayed together and we got married and had kids. And I have like these 2 kids now that would be like 15, 20. You know, I could see a version of events, and I could see a happy life, a very classic, you know, normie life where I have the fucking house and the kids and the wife and the picket fence and we live in Reading. But I fucked that one up. There was no way I was ever coming out of that. She was very good. She was very very accommodating for the type of person I was, but I was just unruly. And, you know, was just no good for anyone at that point. Not even myself. But yeah, the relationships I've been in, they've not been bad people. I've not been in relationships where the other person blows up or gets angry at me or necessarily. I'm grateful for that because, you know, that was my childhood and I'm afraid of that and I live in fear of that. But I've been in relationships, my relationships that were longer than a few months for the most part were with people that were good. Now, they weren't all of them. I was with a girl we had a bit of an on-off relationship for about a year. And she was just a piece of shit. But I didn't realize who she was. And I'm a very insightful person, and I even we're going back now to I was probably around 20. And I think I might have been like 19 or something. I don't know. It's hard to say how old I was. I can't, because that whole period of my life was fucked. But there was a relationship in there somewhere with this one girl who she seemed so nice and so sweet, and we would have these like great conversations and we got on really well and we laughed and joked and we went out and we hung out with, you know, we had a group of friends that was similar. Her best friend was dating my cousin brother as well, so we would go out a lot as a 4. But I went to America at one point and came back to find that she had cheated on me. And I was like, what? And I just couldn't believe it. And it was just bizarre because she would put forward this, she was like a real psychopath, I think. And she would put forward this version of herself with me, but I think actually she was a very different person. And that kind of fucked me up a bit. Like, she wasn't someone that I was like necessarily, it wasn't another one where I was like head over heels in love with her or anything, but it hurt a lot. And that messed me up because it gave me a lot of trust issues. But yeah, like, and then I found out a lot of other stuff that she was doing with her friends and stuff as well. And she was just a really, she was a real bitch. She was kind of evil. And she was up to all sorts of fucked up shit. And she was very self-serving. And when you find out that you were just like a bit part in their life that wasn't as important as you thought, it's rough. That's a rough place to be in. It's a difficult place to be. As a young man as well, like trying to figure it out. And I don't think I'm actually a piece of shit. And I've never been one of these guys who like sleeps around and stuff. So yeah, that was pretty brutal. And yeah, she was just kind of a psychopath. And I think when I think back on how confused I was about her, she had a lot of stuff where she was very secretive about certain elements of her life. And I got the sense, I thought her mum was in like witness protection or something, because they would never tell me their true surname. They had a fake surname that they got when they moved. And she had all this cagey information around their family. And I just thought, well, I'm from a fucked up family. Probably their dad's trying to kill them. I know how that feels. I've had my dad try and kick the door in and kill everyone in the house. So like, I get it. But it felt weird that after we'd been together for some time, and we were really like, again, we weren't really exclusively together ever, which I think was a lot of her excuse in her head. But we were pretty into it at this point. She lived a block away from me. We hung out all the time. And yeah, she just had all this cagey information. She just was very unforthcoming with information. And so it didn't really ring as a red flag to me at the time. Because I was young and I didn't have a lot of experience. But now when I look back on it, I realize that she withheld so much information because she was just playing all of her cards close to her chest. And everything, her name, everything from her name to like her past, what happened, who she really was. We actually had a very surface level relationship. And then, yeah, to find out that she had cheated on me when I was on holiday, and God knows, probably other times as well. 007, yeah. Yeah, she had some weird stuff going on. And really, I think she was just... Now, when I think about her, I think maybe she was a fucking sociopath or something. I think maybe she was kind of psychopathic. And I don't think she actually cared for me or anyone at all. Yeah, and I think around that same time was when I started dating this other girl, and we were in a relationship for a long time. I think sort of 3 years, but we did have some time in there where we split up because I was a fuck up, and we kept getting back together, and we really loved each other. And it's very hard when you passionately love someone like that, when you're fully in love. And I was fully in love with not the psychopath girl, the next girlfriend that I got into a relationship with. A girl from Reading, and I was very in love with her. But and she was very in love with me. It was full on. I don't think I've ever experienced love like that again, because I think it's difficult to fall in love that heavily, to be somewhere between such a young man that you have these puppy loves and being an adult and having an adult relationship where you love someone. Not to say I wasn't fully in love with my next girlfriend and my next true girlfriend that came after that, Emma, who a lot of you know. A lot of that relationship was live on the internet. We met through YouTube things a long time ago, and but there's a fiery full emotional head diving all the way in, just completely just launching yourself into this love, to this passion. That I think when that passion and that fiery love burns you, I don't know if you ever really are able to leap in as much as that again. And mine and Emma's relationship certainly had that. Like, I fully gave myself to that woman, but it was a different way because I was older, slightly older, not that much older, but older, and you know, I'd been through this other relationship, and but we loved each other fully, but there was just a lot of things in the way of that relationship. She was at uni, which anyone who's been in a relationship where one of you is at uni and the other one isn't, it's already so fucked. How many people in high school are like, we're gonna be together forever, and they break up a week after they fucking go to uni? Kills every relationship. So she's at uni, she's fucking doing stuff. I'm working, but I'm also a drug addict. I'm fucking living in this fucking drug den. I'm living in this like absolute crack den in London. She's living in Reading. We're having a long distance relationship. Yeah, I mean, I ultimately crippled that whole relationship, and I won't go into it. I've spoken about it before on the stream, but it was fully on me at the end of the day. It'd be interesting. I'd love to speak to myself at 23 or whenever that relationship ended, maybe 22, and see what my perspective on that was at the end of it, because now that I'm much older and I look back on it, that's a kid that I don't know. The kid that broke up with that girl is so different to who I am now. It's an alien, you know. They're this unrecognizably different person, but yeah, I mean, it was entirely my fault. I was a drug addict, and I just didn't. When you're addicted to something, you sacrifice other things for that addiction. And if you're smart about it, you can function. You can figure out ways around it, and you can juggle those things. But when it comes down to a choice between two things, the thing that you are addicted to, and I mean real addiction, I'm not talking cookie clicker, I'm talking heroin, and the woman you love, you will start sacrificing little bits. And that's what I did with every element of my life. I did it with every element of my life. My work, my passions, my interests, my dinner I didn't eat, you know, all of these things, long-term goals, relationships, friendships, slowly you snip away at all of them, because you have to make room. You've got to, instead of eating, I'm going to take some drugs. Instead of going out with, you know, these people who are my other friends, or instead of spending quality time with my girlfriend, I'm going to go and take some drugs because I want to take drugs right now. I don't want to go and do this other thing because the addiction is winning. And you start making excuses, and you start snipping away at every element of your life until you are nothing but the addiction. And you look around you at the end of it, and it's fucking brutal. It's the worst period of my life, was coming off of those drugs and looking back at the wasteland of my life as I'd left it at the end of it. And I'd destroyed every relationship I had. I'd destroyed every friendship I had. I'd destroyed this relationship with this incredible girl who, you know, would have, and I'm sure has grown into an incredible woman. I destroyed relationships with my family. I destroyed my relationship with the job I had. I had no money. I hadn't eaten in years. It was crazy. And she was part of that. She was left. Yeah, eventually I just snipped. I didn't show up for one too many date nights. Instead of going to hers or inviting her to come and see me, I would do something else instead one too many times until eventually I wore her down, and that love isn't enough. And it's rough, man, when you look at stuff like that, and you can see very clearly the road that you took and the choices you made, and you just look at all of the choices you've made throughout a relationship like that. I can look at it throughout my whole life as well if I wanted to, and just look at every fucking bad decision I've made and the consequences that it's had on my life. And it's rough, it's difficult, but it teaches you a lot. I've learned a lot as an adult through just an unbelievable amount of mistakes and bad choices, and I have to be grateful for that. You know, I think a lot of the time I make jokes and I say stuff like, oh, I'm really dumb, you know, and I'm not very smart. And you'll see like a lot of my friends be like, you aren't dumb, you're like really smart. And when I say that, this is what I mean. What I mean is I'm not book smart like Maya. I'm not intelligent. I'm bad at retaining information. I can barely string a sentence together some days. But I have a lot of experience, but I don't feel proud about the wisdom that I've accrued over the years of my life, because I might be pushing 40, but I think I've accrued double that in terms of wisdom and experience, because I've lived a very long and varied life. Yeah, now I spend a lot of time just sitting indoors playing PUBG, but my life, my early years, I did a lot of stuff. I went to a lot of places, I lived a lot of lives, and I experienced a lot of things. And it really gave me a lot of experience, and it really gave me a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge in a particular way. But they were almost all through choices that I wasn't proud of, or mistakes that I made that I learned from. And so I'm not really proud of the way that I've learned information. Or if someone says to me, you are smart, or you do, why do you say you're not smart and stuff? And I can acknowledge that I'm not stupid, and but I'm not book smart. I've never been academically very intelligent. I am smart when it comes to just world knowledge and general insight. I'm very insightful. I can combine that with a lot of experience, but all of that experience comes from a lot of bad decisions, a lot of bad choices, and a lot of mistakes. And I'm not very proud of those, because there were a lot of people in there that got hurt along the way, including myself. And I can sit and blame a million people for it. I could blame my parents, I could blame my upbringing and stuff like that. And I do for some portion of that. But also a lot of that was my choice. So I just don't feel very proud of my life. But I have learned a lot. I've learned a lot. And I think, you know, when I'm not making dick jokes or just being depressed and not caring, if I do put myself towards something, I can do it well, and I understand a lot of things, and I understand people very well. But the way that I gained that knowledge doesn't feel very great, to be honest. A lot of broken hearts, and my own heart has been broken and pieced together throughout that process many times as well. Not a lot in there that I can be very proud of. Hi, Aaron. Aaron's like, I think I'm gonna watch a different stream. This is entertainment. We're doing therapy hour, aren't we? Didn't even realize it. God damn it. You tricked me. Going back to what you said about people taking things personally, I was potentially getting into a relationship with someone who was taking the way my brain processes things personally. I tried explaining this to them, but I don't think she got it. That ended up not working out. Yeah, that's a problem with a lot of people. I think one of the good things about the modern age that we live in is that we're all getting a lot better at understanding different processes that people's brains go through. If you're in a relationship with someone who has ADHD or is on spectrum, autism, Asperger's, something like that, not taking stuff personally that they do is very important. think me and Emma had to do that a little bit as well. I don't know what's going on with her. She's autistic or something, but she would do things at the beginning of that relationship that I would take so personally. Like, I wouldn't get angry with her about it, but I would feel hurt about it. By the end of that relationship, she'd do shit and I'd be like, and I'd just laugh it off, because it's just the way that she's processing it. It's not about you. It's the way that the other person is processing things. It isn't about you. The world doesn't, not everything is being filtered through your brain. You're just filtering everything through your brain. They're filtering it through theirs. But I mean, it's very difficult to know at the beginning of a relationship, unless you've been friends for years, what that person is like. It takes a little while. You have to learn to get to know each other, and in that learn what type of person they are and how they process information and what they're doing. And you know, if you get into a relationship with someone and on the first date they're like, I'm autistic, by the way, it will definitely give you some idea. But a lot of the time you don't really get that kind of information. You're just having conversations and you figure out each other's things. You know, it doesn't matter to me if somebody has a diagnosis of, you know, autism or ADHD, or maybe they're depressed or they have anxiety or all these different things, because that's still them. Whoever they are, whatever things, however they process information, or whatever these diagnoses they have, doesn't matter in terms of a label to me very much, unless they want it to matter to me for some reason. But generally speaking, that is just who that person is. What's your name first? This is, and watching them interface with the world and having them interact with me in certain ways, whatever way that makes me feel is going to be the way it makes me feel. And that's them. That's who they are. And if I can fall in love with that, then I'll fall in love with that. And if they, you know, whatever. And then, you know, everything else on top of that is just, who cares? You know, I'll probably rip the piss out of you for it. I'm probably just going to roast you for being autistic. But it doesn't actually, who cares? You know, I'm just going to roast you for it. But really, it doesn't mean anything to me. What's your name? What are you about? What are you doing? That's what I care about. Usually. Yeah, Annie, you've had a fucking nightmare as well. I feel like you pick terrible people though. I don't know how you do it, but you're just like, I'll be in a relationship with that person. 6 months later, they're awful. And I'm like, okay, whatever radar you're using here needs to be calibrated differently. Figure it out. Hi chat, Brad looks good today. Did he get a tan? I actually do have a tan. One of the reasons I was cutting my hair this morning, which is why I've like, it's all up. I was like shaving all of this, was so that I could get some color on the back of my neck. Because you can see here that I've only got color here because I've had long hair. Every time I go outside, my hair is covering this part of my neck and stopping me from getting a tan. So I just look dirty, and I didn't want that anymore. So I was like, well, before summer ends, I'm going to cut the back of my hair off. And then when I go outside, I'll tie my hair up, and then I'll actually get a tan on the back of my neck. London gets sun. We've had a lot of sun. It's been very sunny, very warm. It's fucking absolutely brutally hot today. It's actually been quite a nice summer, but I've fucking ruined the whole thing. I've destroyed the whole thing by suffering fucking withdrawal syndrome for the last 2.5 months. Perfect platform to share with other young people so they may make different decisions or have perspective. Still sucks for all involved. If I'm honest with you, Peja, I don't think anyone listening to my story will make any different decisions. Because I wouldn't have done. In fact, I'm sure I had other people in my life who are older and more experienced and looking at my life. And they were probably giving me good advice and telling me not to do this. I believe I did have, there was a guy. Hi, Oliver. There was a guy I worked with. His name was Henry. I won't say his surname because you could Google him. His name was Henry. I worked with him. An older man, Ghanaian. Cool dude, man. He was a cool dude. Something about him. Family man, had kids and a wife. Don't know how old he was, but I was 20. And I was in a relationship with that girl that I ruined everything with. And he would just, all he would do is talk to me about how she seems like so great and how, because I would talk to him about her and stuff. But he would be like watching me destroy this relationship. And I'm pretty sure he was telling me at the time, like, don't screw that up, stay with her, you know, you guys are perfect for each other and all this stuff. Screwed it up. Henry Cavill was his name, that's right. Henry Cavill. How old is Henry Cavill? How old is Henry Cavill? He's 41. So I'm like, oh, he's an older guy, 3 years older than me. It depends on where you're at. I got great advice from a lot of people when I was younger, but I ignored it. But as I got into my early 20s, I started internalizing and using that advice. Yeah. Yeah, there was a couple of guys. I worked with a guy, I've mentioned him before, who was a good mentor to me. But that guy, Henry, was a good mentor to me. I worked with a man called Ian, and I really did not respect or acknowledge how much he looked after me during those years at the time. I don't think I even acknowledged it until recently when I think about him. But I had just, you know, my family had destroyed itself, and he offered me a job, and I went and worked for this guy, and he looked after me, man. I called in sick a lot, and I showed up late, and I'd bung off early, and I'd sneak out and smoke a joint, you know, I'd do a little bump, and I was such a fuck up the entire time I worked for this guy. And then ultimately all I did was just fucking give him half the effort he deserved, half of the respect he deserved. And I don't just mean as a job. I mean, I feel like you shouldn't be working at 100% if you work for a company anyway. Unless you're working directly for yourself. I do not work at 100% every day. Give that company as much as they would give you, which is that they wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire. But him as a person, a manager at this company, a company that his father owned, but he was just a manager at it. Middle manager guy, run a fucking portion of this company. He was so good to me. He could have fired me after a fucking 6 months. Didn't fire me ever. Should have fired me after 6 months. Is a better way to word that. Looked after me. Was very... He wasn't like a kind man or anything like that exactly. He was just a bloke. Your average bloke. He was a Chelsea fan. He had a wife and a kid. He had 2 dickheads working for him, me and another guy, who literally, between the 2 of us, barely formed a functioning worker. And you needed 3 people working this job, and he had 1 working for him and himself. And I literally, dude, phoned in that whole job. But he looked after me. He gave me raises. He made sure that I didn't get fired. I didn't get in trouble with upper management every time I fucking phoned in sick because I was just taking a fucking green day. Or I had stayed up all night doing coke and going clubbing on a Wednesday. And he was fucking so good to me, man. And I only now that I'm older look back with the perspective that I have now on that. Because at the time I didn't give a shit. He gave me a lot of good advice. He was constantly giving me advice on like girls and stuff, you know, and on money and rent and just little older man giving younger man advice things daily, because I worked for him every day for like 3 or 4 years. Eventually he got me a position in that company that was a fucking amazing position as a fucking junior art worker for a fucking architecture company. He wrangled this fucking job for me because he could see that I had potential with like Illustrator and Photoshop and the Adobe suite and all this kind of shit. I was doing this fucking reprographics job, and he wrangled this extra work for me, where for 1 day a week I would work for the other company, and I would work in the junior artworking department on InDesign and on Illustrator and stuff. It was a crazy job, crazy good position. And I just didn't give a fuck. Everything he said to me, I was like, yeah, man, because I was just living free, dude. I was a free man. I lived so fucking... I didn't give a fuck, dude. I was living so metal. I was just going out every night, doing drugs, drinking, just didn't give a shit, listening to music loud. Fuck you, fuck the system, fuck the world. The only reason I'm doing this job is so I can buy some drugs tonight. The only reason I'm doing this job is so I can go out at the weekend. Living for the weekend. Early 2000s, indie scene was banging, the music was wicked, we were just fucking living. And it was so bad for me. And he was giving me good advice. This other older gentleman that I knew, Henry, taught me loads of stuff, man. Taught me all about Ghanaian culture. It's why when I'm talking to Maya, I can just hit him with random Ghanaian shit. I don't know a lot about Ghanaian culture, but I seem to know more than the average white guy, because white people are awful, don't learn about anyone else's cultures. But he would just teach me all about his life and stuff. But I didn't give a fuck. I would listen and it would go into my brain, and I was like thinking about my next fucking, what I'm doing tonight. Yeah, man. Yeah, like those guys, I think about them a lot, and I mean, I wouldn't have any idea how to get in contact with. I could probably get in contact with Ian. I don't know about some of the other guys that I knew growing up, some of the other people that were good influence. Almost certainly wouldn't be able to find Henry, but I would love to sit down with them and just. I'm sure it wouldn't mean anything to them, and I'm sure that they wouldn't even be able to understand what my life is now, because they were just normies. They're just normies. They watch football. They live their lives. And if I explain what my life was to them now, they'd be like, oh, you haven't changed. But I would love to sit down and say, and just get their perspective on whether they, recall any of that time. But that ultimately, they actually did a lot for me. They didn't know it. I didn't know it, but I think they did a lot for me, especially this guy, Ian. I didn't have a dad growing up. He was around for a few years, but he was abusive and awful, and he just left. This guy was the first sort of father figure I had. And I didn't respect him at all. Didn't respect his time. I didn't respect what he did for me. And he kept me employed. He gave me a fucking chance, man. And I just pissed all over it and abandoned him, like I did with everyone at that period of my life. And I'd love to have a chat with him now and just, I'd like to thank him. I don't know if it would mean anything to him or anything, but I wouldn't even know what I'd thank him for exactly. But I would like to shake his hand and just say, look, I don't know if you know it. I don't know if you were doing it on purpose or if that's just the person you are and I was near you. But I think you really fucking did a lot for me. You gave me a chance. You gave me a job. You kept me employed. And you were giving me just sort of a role model, kinda. It's not like I've ever aspired to be him, but I'd never seen a sort of stable, normal man who was a good person, good-natured person at his heart, who looked after me, and in his own way, in as much as a boss can, kind of cared for me. And I think he did go the extra mile for me. As a I was only 18 when I think I first started working for him, or maybe not. Yeah, late 18, 19. And he did a lot for me, man, and I never really got the opportunity to thank him for that. And it would just be so random to do as well. It'd be so cringe to do, to just out of nowhere. It's such a movie thing to do, isn't it? And I don't know if he'd appreciate it, or if he would just be like, you know what, you little fucking loser. Big up Liam. Well, his name was Ian. I-A-N. Liam is a completely different person. Liam is my oldest and best friend, and in a way, I owe him a lot as well. He has saved me many times. I think I've thanked him for it. I hope I have. I'm pretty sure I have. But again, it's awkward to do. It's weird and awkward to do. And I hope that a lot of my friends know that I love them and I try to repay them in small ways when I can, with horrible, brutal roasts and attacks on their personalities. But a lot of my friends have saved me many times, and I don't know if they're aware of it all the time. And I'm not the type of person who can comfortably constantly tell my friends how much I love them and thank them for the times that they've been there, and they don't realize that they've helped me. Maybe, you know, just days when I've just needed someone to play PUBG with, and it means so much more to me than they realize. But Liam has been my friend for a very long time. We've been very close. It's a constant in my life, which I don't have many of. I've had to find manually. But over the last couple of years, me and Liam have been we've grown very close. We've always been very, very close. He's been my best friend since we were 13, but we have grown very close because we both shared a very similar experience. Getting fucking divorced at 36, 37, and being of a very similar personality and similar kind of disposition, and being in a very similar position in life, and having it happen at the exact same time. The two of us have just been fucking holding on to each other every day, going for our little mental health walks. But symbolically, we've been holding each other up, I think, a lot. I think I've done a lot to help him understand what he's going through on a mental health level, because he's never ever looked at it. Just to air some of his dirty laundry live on stream. I don't know if he's even in here. Probably not. He's usually back at work by now. But I'm glad he's not. He is, he just has never really looked at any of his mental health issues before, and I literally have diagnosed him with everything and been like, you have this, this, and this, go away and look it up. And he's done it. And he's always been there. Like, there's been times where I've been on the fucking edge of the building, man, just like fuck yeah, I'm doing it. And he's at the window going, don't jump, you know. Literally, he has been almost, that is an example, but that is a metaphor, but basically the exact he's basically been there last couple of times. But yeah, Liam is a different story. It's just weird when I think back to these guys in my life growing up who were very good mentors and just quietly good role models for me, who gave me a lot of chances. And now that I'm older, I can recognize it really well, but just you can't recognize it when you're young. You've no idea when you're young, and especially if you're very self-destructive like I was. Yeah, dude, did you hear that sound effects? Self-destructive. No, I didn't do it. Like I was. I think I could go back and give myself all of the advice in the world. I wouldn't listen to a word of it. If I went back in time now and I just went boop, 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 2004. I went back in time and I went, right, Brad, listen to me. I've only got 20 minutes, so let me just explain everything. Do this, do this, do this, do this. Don't do that. Stop doing that. Figure that out. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. For the love of God, don't do this. Talk to that person. Love this person. Trust that one. Don't trust this one. Do this, and do this. The only thing that would happen is the 20, 21, 22-year-old me would go, fuck you, you fucking twat. Look at the fucking state of ya. Shut your mouth. I'm going to be dead by 27. Blah. Just fuck it. I didn't care. I didn't give a shit, dude. I was convinced I'd be dead. I was 27 club all the way. I was living so fast, man. I just didn't give a shit. I was fully suicidal. It was crazy. I didn't give a fuck, man. I didn't look when I crossed the street. It was mad. London. Go to London rush hour and just walk into a road. I just used to walk out in the road, fucking headphones in. Dun, 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 dun. Insane, kid. Insane. Me now sitting here playing D&D.
Well, you guys get a +2 to your proficiency.
An alien took over my body. An alien took over my body, and there's a different person. So much of my personality is completely gone. I don't have it. I used to be fucking crazy. Crazy. The way I lived my life was mad. I changed it overnight, which is the even crazier thing. It was a full eureka moment, which I think a lot of addicts, anyone who's been addicted to anything or has been through AA or any of those kinds of things would understand that eventually you just fucking hit this weird ceiling. And you either break through it and change, or you don't. And you stay that way forever and die. And so, yeah, I mean, almost literally overnight, I fucking Control-Alt-Deleted my life. I just went, not doing this anymore. Something in me. And it makes me sad because I do think about the promises I made myself that day, and I don't think I've kept them. Oathbreaker. I am an oathbreaker. I've made 2 oaths in my life, I think. One of them I kept. She left. And the other one, I don't think I've kept to myself, to my younger self. I don't think. But I've been through this in therapy a lot, and my therapists have all said the same thing. They're like, well, you made this ridiculous promise to yourself as a child, and you're now an adult. You can't hold yourself to the standards of a child. The world that the child sees is this very simplistic, very absolute world. And to expect yourself to be able to live to this version of your life that you expected to achieve and get to and whatever is ridiculous. But deep down, I know I haven't kept that oath to myself. Maybe there's still time. Or maybe it's not possible, which is more likely. I don't think it's really a possible thing to do. Part of that promise to myself, I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you, because I don't know if I've ever shared this or not. But part of that promise was like, if I'm gonna live, I'm gonna live. Right? Like, that was my plan. If I'm gonna live, I'm gonna live. Because I was laying there, I was gonna die. I was laying on this fucking thing in this fucking crack den, and I was home alone for the first time in a long time. Because I lived in the Jesse Pinkman crack den from Breaking Bad. And I was laying on this fucking second-hand ratty sofa that we had bought. The house was trashed. There were rats. Or mice. There were mice living in this house. You couldn't get in the kitchen. It was filled with shit. Just the most run-down, disgusting apartment people had been living in. Just cigarette burns and cigarette butts and ashtrays and joint butts and fucking empty baggies and empty kebab fucking wraps and shit. Like, you know, 2 TVs, a PlayStation 2 on one of them. And I was laying there and I was listening to Jimi Hendrix, I think. And I was smoking. I just finished smoking a joint, I think. And I wanted a cigarette and I couldn't afford one. And I don't know if anyone else has hit this. Anyone who's quit smoking before, I feel like the amount of times that I quit smoking, apart from the last time I quit smoking, one of the reasons is that you don't have any cigarettes, or you don't have any tobacco or something, and you just cannot deal with the fact that you have to keep replacing this expensive shit. You're either buying tobacco, it's expensive, or you're buying a fucking box of cigarettes, which at the time were like a $5 or something. I think they're even more expensive now, anyone who smokes. But I remember getting like that. That was like the first thing that triggered this effect. And I was laying there in this fucking pit. And I was 23. And I'd been living the life that I've been explaining I've been living for 3 years. I was emaciated. Like my skin was yellow. My hair was long as shit. I hadn't eaten for years. We were eating these fucking like rotten honey nut shreddies that we got when we first moved in. 3 years out of date. Honey nut shreddies that we would eat because we couldn't afford food. And because my friend worked at a fucking Kellogg's factory or something, and she brought us this box, this enormous box of mini packs. You know, those like kids mini packs of honey nut shreddies. And we had that the entire time we lived there. And if you got so hungry that you couldn't afford food, and you were so hungry and you were dying and we couldn't do anything about it, we would go and get one of those packs. And I remember the look that we would give each other when we knew it was time. The equivalent of sawdust in the soup. Anyway, I was fucking dying that day. I was laying there and I knew, man, I knew my life. If I didn't... I don't know how to explain this to you. But I knew that if I didn't get up right then and get out of that fucking house, I was going to die that way. It wouldn't have happened that day. It wouldn't have happened for many years. It might not have been 27. I might still be living in that way now. But I knew that I would be that way forever. I knew that I would be living weekend to weekend, paycheck to paycheck, baggy to baggy, backy to backy, just on drugs forever. And I would never escape that world and that cycle, and that it would make me miserable. It was already making me miserable. And I needed to get the fuck out. And I got the fuck up. Because I knew I was going to die. I didn't want to die. Suicidal kid. Didn't want to die. And I saw my life clear. I saw the path of my life laid out before me. And I had to make a choice right then and there. A good example of this, there was that show. I remember watching that show. It has Jonah Hill and Emma Stone in it, and it's about therapy. And I watched it just before Cerebrum Project because it's not too dissimilar. And she does it in that show. Go and watch that show. She has this day where she walks into her apartment and just packs a fucking bag and leaves. Maniac. Yeah, go watch the scene where Emma Stone leaves. Because it was obviously dramatic. But she just does it in that show. And I was like, oh, I did that. I think the person that wrote that fucking show did this thing that happened to me. And I've spoken to other people, and lots of people have this experience. Obviously not the same exact experience, but that moment where you're like, I've got to get out. I have to get out. And I've got to do it right now. And I got up and I left my life. I quit my whole life. I died that day. I actually did die that day. I might have still had a beating heart and a fucking pulse and, you know, a brain that was in my head, but the person, you know, Bradley Smith, who had been living his life up until that fucking day, died. His friends, his job, his will, the way that he was living, died. And he never came back. And I got the fuck out, man. And I fucking suffered for so long. And it's funny because I'm going through withdrawal now. And I went through withdrawal by myself in a bedroom in my mum's house with her just fucking, she fucking hated me. She's like, why did you quit your job? Why the fuck have you done this? You know, all of my friends hated me. I was living with a guy who was like, what do I do about rent? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I get it. You should all hate me. You know, all my friends took it personally because I just left. Man. Got the fuck out. I quit my job because I knew that if I went back to that fucking job, I'd fall back into my routines and my patterns. I had to get the fuck out. I deleted my entire life. I burned everything fucking down. And I went back, Windows rolled back to a point where I was living at my mum's house And I rekindled with Liam. I became friends with Liam again, and I went to university. I enrolled at university and did a graphic design course. And just restarted. I hit the restart button. But it was fucking horrible, man. It was such a horrible time. Everyone hated me and I couldn't... what I should have done was just told everyone the truth, but I didn't tell anyone. I just suffered it by myself. Suffered the withdrawal, suffered the hatred. No one understood. My mum didn't get it. Everyone just thought I was a fucking waster. I guess I was. It's hard, man. Even when I think about it now, that was so hard to do. And it was all on instinct. And I think about that every now and then. And it was this weird overnight decision. But that day that version of me died, the version of me that's sitting here now was born. And they're two different guys. Two different guys, man. Really different people. The way that I moved through life for that first period of my adulthood and who I am now is fucking weird. Weird to think about. Strangers. Would love to fucking talk to myself at 23. Would love it. God, what I wouldn't give, how fucking interesting that would be for me to be able to go give him some fucking headphones and interview him. Ask him stuff. What do you think love is? The question that started this therapy hour from Pija. What do you want from life? The answers would be so different. He didn't want anything from life. He just wanted to die. He wanted to live fucking fast and burn out. Better burn out than fade away. I don't even know how to answer that question now. Crazy. Crazy to think about. I act as one, but I'm not alone. Yeah, I guess so. Doing that alone too is rough. It was rough. It was easily the most difficult thing I've ever had to do. And I feel like there's some things that have been really difficult that I've had to do. There have been things that I've done that I didn't have to do that have been difficult as well. There have been moments in my life that I wouldn't wish upon my absolute worst enemy. Genuinely. I can think of people that I truly hate as well. There are people in this world that I hate. Hate's hard. I think hate should be as rare as love for you. I think you can really dislike people, and I think we're all petty. And you can harbor dislike. But hate, I think, should be as powerful as love. And I've only loved a few people in this life of mine. In both of my lives. And I've only hated a few as well. I've only hated a handful of people in my entire life. A lot of the people that I thought I hated, I didn't hate. And a lot of the people that I thought I hated, I no longer do. But I honestly wouldn't wish it upon them. Some of the things that I've done and been through and felt. And yet, the hardest thing was that year. The first few months of that year. The first maybe 3 months of that year. God, I don't know how I made it through. I have no idea how I made it through that. Pure instinct. As well. It's the most bizarre thing to think back and just think, now I know what I was doing. I looked at my life, and with hindsight, my instincts were like, you're in danger, get out, run. And I did. But at the time, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just went on this bizarre instinct to destroy my entire life. A great decision in the long term, but it was fucking instinct, animal instinct. On this huge existential level. The weirdest feeling. The only people I know that actually know how that feels are other people that have beaten a real, legitimate, hardcore addiction. And have had that eureka moment. Because it's fucking weird. And it's weird to grow older and remember it. too. Even without drugs and stuff, 35 me and 23 me are totally different people. I hope so, Amanda. Yeah. I think it would be absolutely fucking horrible if anyone was in here and they were 35, 40, anything, and the version of themselves 20 years younger was the same. That person's either a psychopath or someone that ain't worth knowing. Get out. Get out while you can. Alright, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Therapy hour is over. Therapy is over. You owe me 60 quid. This was 2 hours, so it was 2 sessions. So you owe me 120 quid. They're 50-minute sessions. I think maybe I owe you. Should we just watch TikToks? Let's cleanse our palates with going from the most meaningful moments. Thank you. That's correct, Peugeot. This was your fault too. You started that. You asked me what my definition of love is. Why did you ask me that? Before we move on, we're going to go from the most important thing, a genuine conversation where I've genuinely bared my soul to you. You're welcome, by the way. You do that. You turn on a camera and put a microphone in front of you and then just share some of the deepest, darkest moments of your life with everyone. You do it. That's right. We're going to go from that to watching TikTok. The least important things in the world. I was just curious, just been thinking about it as I approach 30. Nah, you're fine. Here's my recommendation. If you do want to take some advice from an old man, you are currently single, Peugeot, or not? Get into a relationship and have a kid. Do it now. Do it now. Because you're going to be floating into your 40s with no purpose in life, and it's pretty brutal. Pretty brutal. I don't want kids, but I sort of feel like you should have them anyway. Alright, now time for the least important thing in this world.
A sandwich shop called Mr. Pickles in Van Nuys, and of course I happen to have an extra cheeseburger with pickles in my car and a parasol, so we had to spin some pickles out of the I don't know if you just heard behind me, the dog just hacked up something and ate it. You can still hear it. I don't know. There's Luna in the background. All right, enjoy pickle flinging outside of Mr. Pickles. There you go. Hey, do what you got to do today to get through the day. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.
I can't imagine a more perfect video. To transition into. Thank you, Sarah. Art. The stream is art.
All right, man.
Brewster.
See you tomorrow. Of course. Thanks. Oh. What was that? Email. Email. Oh, fuck. Sorry.
I don't know, that guy, the way that guy writes jokes is really interesting. He's very funny, but like he is one of the only people that does videos like that and tells jokes that way. It's very good. Playing D&D with the Type B Dungeon Master. What's Type B? Which one's that?
Oh, hey man, how are you? You're outside for our D&D session. Okay, yeah, well you come on in. Just give me like 5 minutes to set up the tables. I didn't know we were having a session today. What? No, it's fine. I'll figure it out.
B, one
no
of
man,
these
I got
people.
fantasy name generator. That is all I need.
Yeah.
You enter the dungeon and find a dimly lit room with a bunch of mismatched little trinkets like keys, thimbles, etc. on the ground. Yeah, that works. Door opens, you move on to the next room. Oh, no, man, I did not have the solution for that. I was just waiting for one of you to say something clever so I could pretend that had been the answer all along. Oh, you're right. The weapon I gave you
every
15
5
sessions
weeks
ago
'cause I'm
does
having a
have a
mental
specific
breakdown.
magical property that exploits the weakness of the big bad of the dungeon. Who would have thought? No, it's fine. I wouldn't have given it to you if I didn't want you to use it. Yeah, just give me 5 seconds. I gotta Google random encounter tables real quick. Yeah, 17 succeeds. So you pick the lock, you open the chest, and... fuck it, let's spice things up. You find a deck of many things.
Dude, Sundays. Sundays on this channel. This one's from Toodle. Bird. Another bird. Me yapping at you about my gruesome past. Nanook sent this one.
This is my hair wet. A little bit, but not wet at all. So I'm going to show you guys what it looks like when it's wet. This is my hair wet.
It's kind of what used to happen to Merlin. Like, he was so fluffy, but you'd shave him.
This is my hair wet.
God damn it.
This is my hair wet.
I mean, that's hilarious. The difference is unreal.
Wet at all. So I'm going to show you guys what it looks like when it's wet. This is my hair wet.
Yes. Alright, this one's from Glitchy.
Najot Maziz Vermitus Lukiri.
Nothing more insane in this world than a black cat kitten.
Lukiri Lohairas.
Insane creatures. Every black cat I've ever had. Absolutely pure insanity. Chat IRL from Nana.
Takeoff successful. We are now travelling through the Gabakita system.
Yeah, 100%.
Generators running.
This
Generators
is
running. Generators running. Protocol Intel active for atom generators running. Bikapeteka Galaxy Commander. Galaxy Commander. Gita Kobata Gituk.
This is what my mum thinks I am.
The generators are functioning at full capabilities. Generators 1 to 6 million. The protocol of the atoms of the Intel. Drive system enabled. Wopikaba. Goramakuti Tamako. Hirama Hidit. Hushamakotakati dia. The Intel generators will take us through the systems past the beyond the light into the known.
Fucking Christ. Did I watch any? Yes. We watched this.
Oh, don't use wooden cutting boards. They're a food safety hazard. Don't use glass cutting boards. They dull your knives. Don't use plastic cutting boards. You're going to get microplastics. How about I just die? How about I just die instead? Oh, don't use wood.
It's so annoying, isn't it? It's so annoying that I don't care anymore. So now, I'm eating the wrong fucking food, cutting it on the wrong cutting board, cooking it in the wrong thing, because I just don't know which one of the lies, it's like 3 truths and a lie or whatever, isn't it? Or 3 lies and a truth, being on the internet now. Which one? One of them's got to have some basis, but you're in science, but you just don't know anymore. So die. Just die.
All about you. And we're going to meet your superfan now. Good afternoon.
I believe I fat thumbed the favourite button. Although this is hilarious. So funny, dude. It's the way that they're like not allowed to laugh that makes that funny. Toodle ain't making it through that video.
Well, it's just my opinion. Well,
you expressed it, so defend it, you know? Use your human brain to articulate it further, because right now I'm worried that you might be a dog that learned how to talk. Well,
You people in the chat room, every time you come in here and say some fucking dog shit take. Okay. Well, no idea what this video was, huh? I guess we'll never know.
You guys know the
Oh, it's Big
one-
Gun. Jesus.
Do you guys know the #1 outcome or the #1 indicator for how children grow up to thrive, whether or not they actually do?
I thought it was the daddy in the house.
Absolutely not.
What's
Believe
that?
it or not, it is the quality of their mother's happiness.
Wow.
Damn.
I could get behind that. I think that's possible. I think it's plausible. I think that's plausible. That hurts though, doesn't it? Run that back. The quality of the mother's happiness is the #1 factor. There are other factors, and it's not always the case. But I bet that's true. A little bit hurts. Well, the quality of your mother's happiness versus the quality of your children's mother's happiness. Very different. Now go and kick the door down. Freak her out. I'm talking about me, yeah. I realised halfway through the sentence. Okay, well... I was going to do a game vote. But now I'm thinking I might not. Now the reason I'm thinking I might not is because it would be hilarious if there were a bunch of people in here waiting for nothing more than the game vote and then we didn't do it. Because those people that come in and just vote on the game and then don't watch it are starting to piss me off. But Brad, the game that I voted on doesn't win, so I leave. It makes complete sense. Shut your fucking mouth. You shut your fucking mouth with the logic. What I want to do is the Family Feud Mr. and Mrs. Tom Bacon's sent me 10 questions the other day that I want to get my friends to answer. I am here to vote. First time chat. Maybe tune in tomorrow instead. The thing is, I don't want to start the game tomorrow. So I might do the game vote tomorrow. Let's give him something to vote for. Do you mind if we do the game vote tomorrow? Yes. Politely. Yes. You fucker. No. Politely. No. I sat through this fucking therapy hour for nothing. I don't care. I am mentally unstable. I'm up way too late, but every time I'm about to tune out, it's on some note where I don't want to contribute to a drop in viewership. Go drink a Red Bull right now. Drink a Red Bull. Stay up for another 20 minutes, you slag. Now go to bed, dude. Go to bed. I'm only fucking with you. Watch everyone be confused about, do you mind if, yeah. Do you mind? But a lot of people do mind. Who voted 1 and 2? Tempest, give me an answer why. Kara, give me an answer why. Omega, give me an answer why. Wax Steven, give me an answer why. Benevolent Brute, give me an answer why. Aaron, give me an answer why. Fruit Punch Ninja, Sarab, give me answers. I voted one by accident because I can't understand proper English.
Clear the stage!
Jesus
Suck your
Christ.
Got to clear the stage for the next fighters!
Suck! Yeah, I think I'll do it tomorrow because here's the thing. One, I'm a bit tired. Two, if I do a shorter stream tomorrow, I can prep Cura because I haven't prepped it very much. Oh, what are you going to prep for it? I have no idea. I don't know what they're doing or where they're going to go. It's impossible to prep. It's the weirdest position to be in as a DM. Because it's just... We could do some unban request. Gabe. I can't just do those. I have to look at them because who knows what the unban request says. I didn't even know there was any, to be honest. There are 2 of them. I literally... No, I don't want to affect my mood. This will affect my mood too much. I saw it. Eat the mic more. Alright, ASMR. Toodle's like, do some ASMR, I'm having a bath. ASMR stream. All I know is they're going to open a chest with a deck of many things in it, yeah. Chat GPT, give me inspiration. Well, it's not inspiration I need, I just don't know where they're going to go. Without spoiling anything in the campaign. They're at a point now where they can just go anywhere and do anything. Within reason, but also kind of not. So I really genuinely... It's just very difficult to like hard prep anything because I don't really know where they're going to go, what they're going to do. So I sort of have an idea for like something that can happen anywhere. So if I want to, I can have that happen. So I'm going to prep that. But otherwise, I'm going into it fucking blind, baby. Which is just a scary place to be. It can be a fun place to be. A lot of the time I go into sessions with absolutely nothing prepped and everyone's like,
That's the best session of D&D I've ever played and seen.
And I'm like, okay, great. But yeah, I'd like to try and get that vaguely prepped. So maybe if we do the thing... Didn't Orcish say he was going to tell you where they're going? He did, but it didn't help me in any way whatsoever. You know, if I knew... You know what? You're pissing me off. You've done it. You've pissed me off. Spawn them next to Gary and run an AI generated session. I mean, I might have to. That's what they're doing on Saturdays in Oracle's Rest. My favourite thing about this session of Oracle's Rest is that they spent 2.5 hours and all they did was take the quest. I didn't have to prep anything. You're welcome. I know. I thought the artwork for Sacred was pretty cool. Did you see it? I have Do I have it? Dude. He looks cool as shit. Look at this fucking guy. Realistic Sacred? Let's go, dude. Sacred's a fucking beast. This Wax character. I didn't consult him on his own artwork. I just fucking threw it up. I didn't consult any of them. Right before that session started, Wax Steven is the only one. There are certain things in this world that I can only say to Wax Steven. Now, I will say it in front of other people, and they will never understand it. Only Wax Steven will understand it. And one of those things happened just before we started Oracle's Rest the other day. It was payback for me using WikiPhotoView. Nothing will ever be payback for that. I even generated you artwork for those cards so that you change them. We were setting up all of, I was setting up all of the cameras, and everyone was chatting shit, and it was like, by the way, Oracle's Rest, I set it up, the whole overlay with everyone on it, half an hour before we went live. I want you to understand how hard that is to do. It's 10 times more difficult than running the fucking session. This is what it looks like. There's loads of them. All over the fucking screen. I set up all of these cameras. So there are 2 links that need to be generated. One goes into OBS. One is a link that they click on to join the fucking call. And they all join in this thing, and I can't do anything about any of this until they're on the fucking call. I don't know it's fucking working. I can't get all of these people to be on the call before the day of the thing. There's too many of them. Asking them to do a fucking camera test is mental. There's so many of them. Getting them all to be around at the same time is fucking impossible for the game. Let alone just getting them to do a random camera test. It's herding cats is the only thing that describes how difficult it is to get one streamer to do anything, let alone all of these fucking people. Right? Now, the only person who understands this fully is Wax Steven. And I know what you're thinking, but PB runs these shows. Chords run these shows before. I'm sure Maya's done something. No. Listen to me right fucking now. And I'm not going to explain anything more to you than this. Only Wax Steven understands. That's it. And while I was setting up all this stuff, I set the stream live, and it was a bit of a gamble because there wasn't a thing, because I was just so overwhelmed with stuff to do the day before. I was like, I don't think I need a bitrate limiter on the link that they use to join, and I just can't be bothered to go through and change all of this stuff. I haven't got time to do it. I was like I was on the edge of like throwing up. I was so tired. I was working on this stuff the whole week, plus working on Cura, plus I was on Ungodly, so I had to write a roast that week. So this last week is just, I'm still really unwell. I have half a spoon to do anything in a day. I just didn't have the energy to go in and change all of these fucking links. I already had to go in and do them once anyway, because I had to make links for a show, which we'd never done before. So you have to manually make all the links, and I'm just not that good at this kind of stuff anyway. And I was just like, I'm just going to hope it works. I set the stream going live and it looked fine, but I started to get nervous that it wasn't going to be fine, because Wax said the moment all the cameras are on the screen, it's going to fuck up. And I was like, oh fuck, I don't know how to fix this fucking thing. So Wax said, all you do is you add on the end of this link this little bitrate limiter piece of fucking text that goes into the link, and it should limit the bitrate of each of the cameras, and that'll make it it'll take a lot less strain off of your bitrate and it will run fine. And I was like, fuck, but that means changing all of the links and then getting these motherfuckers to join the call. And I know that some of them will do it, and some of them are Tuesday Grey, who barely had a camera. I don't know what hack she had to do to get a camera to work for this fucking thing. But it is like, she is your grandmother. You know, you're trying to get set up a new phone for your grandmother? That's Tuesday Grey before every single appearance she's ever made on Table Story. And the rest of them are cats. They don't listen. Getting them to do anything's impossible. Getting them to listen to you is impossible. It can't be done. And I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm not doing it. And Whack was like, I don't know, bro. You should probably do that. It's not going to work, dude. You're going to go live and it's just not going to work. And I was like, oh, fuck. He's like, I fucking told you, man. And I was like, I know, but I'm fucking sick and I'm tired and I don't want to do anything. And he's like, I told you, man. It ain't going to work. And I was like, oh, I have to put the link on all the thing and get everyone to click the thing. And Whack went, no. You just have to put it on the OBS links. The 13, 14 OBS links. And I was like, oh, okay. Click, 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 click. Did the whole thing. And I was like, done it. And Whack looked at me. If looks could kill, I would have exploded into 1,000 pieces. He looked at me with such disdain. And I said to him this. To stop him from killing me in that moment, I said to him thusly. I said to the Oathbreaker thusly. I said, listen, if I can do it myself, no matter how much work it is, no matter what amount of effort it takes, if it's something that I can just sit and do myself, that is so much easier than getting these fucking people to do one simple thing. A thing that is extreme difficulty that I have to do versus getting them to do anything is easy. The hardest thing you will ever try and do is get 4 or more streamers to do one simple thing for you. Show up on time, click a link, join the fucking Roll20, make a character, send me artwork, give me a description, any of this stuff. It's fucking so difficult to do. Pulling teeth, man. The hardest thing you'll ever have to do in your life. Get streamers to do anything. The idea of getting all of these motherfuckers to click a link was so grueling, such a difficult prospect for me that I refused. I was willing to just let the stream be destroyed. Anyway, go and watch Oracle's Rest. It's called Oracle's Rest Episode 1, but it's not really. It's kind of Oracle's Rest Episode 3. Sick in Stone Town. It was almost called Gotwood, and it was almost called Dry Hump. What the hell? I was so confused by the intro, and then when the cast showed up, I was even more confused. And then I was excited to see all these people on the same screen. Such a delightful shit show. The reviews are in. Check it out. It's very fun. It's very. I love running this thing. I so wish I had. The Spoons. This is the best name of a villain I've ever had. Rota Episode 9. What a fucking name. Siran. Based on Cyrano. Cyrano Bergerac. Go and look it up. Dude, Rota went so perfectly. It's fucking scary to me. Oh, here's the other 2 episodes of Oracles. They are known as Oracle's Rest Special Part 2, A Little Upset, and Oracle's Rest Special Part 1, Honey, I Shrunk the Party, from a year ago when we streamed the other 2 random episodes. and it looked significantly worse. Because all I did was capture the fucking thing. The Zoom call. Tuesday's in it. We got Tuesday in it. It's Tuesday in it. Yeah, 3 episodes of that will be available if you just want to watch a little thing. A little ditty. A little Diddy Kong. It won't be long before Whack gets desperate and puts Oracle's Rest full show in the incentives for a shill show at some point. Hey Braid, you're fine, right? You're doing fine. And then it camera cuts to me and I'm like, I want life support. Dude. Oh yeah, we can just you're not doing anything right now, right? Well, how about you run a whole other show? If they make enough money. If they make enough money. Oh, okay, how much money are we talking? $2. Oh, okay, how much is it for ZBO? $17,000. Oh, okay, how much is it for Nocturne Season 2? $25,000. Why is mine $2? Just in case you wondered how much Whack and PB value me compared to themselves in this company. Just in case you wondered. Just in case people go, oh, but Brad, you were a co-founder of the company. You merely employed Whack, Steven, and Pumpkinberry. They are your minions, right? No. No. Not at all. Whatever I can do to add stuff to your plate. Yeah, always remember. Never forget. Always remember. Alright, well. I was going to fuck around a bit today, but I think maybe we'll do some fuck around tomorrow. I was going to watch some D&D videos as well. There was a couple of things that I was curious about watching. I thought maybe we could watch them on stream, because some of these things are fun to watch on stream and chat about together. So tomorrow I think I might just do a bit of a stream like this again, but less therapy. Because I can only do a 1 therapy session a month. Expensive. Subscribe. But we'll do a game vote tomorrow. At some point I'm going to play Slay the Princess, which Maya told me to play. But it's like a game that's like 4 hours long, so I'll just like bang it out one day when it fits. So I think we'll do like a proper game vote, and then that way tomorrow I can just we'll do a game vote, we'll fuck around a bit. I might see if anyone's around for a game of Mr. and Mrs. Family Feud. And then we can start a game on Wednesday and like get into it, you know? Maybe we'll try and... I'd like to get into a game now. Try and start a new game. I haven't streamed for 2 months. A Mr. and Mrs. episode might actually kill me. Well, Tom wrote me or found 10 questions. I haven't looked at them because he's got them spoiled. So he's just got 10 questions here. I don't know what they are. And I guess like I'll get like 4 of my friends on a call and see who can answer them. I want Orcish there, but he'll probably never get up early enough. So I'm thinking who's going to be around at this time. Wax Steven, obviously. He'd love to get up early and destroy his day by being on a call on my channel for an hour. Toodlehausen. Do you know what would be hilarious is if Toodle did it and won. If you play it and you win, you have to marry me. But you have to move here. Maya and Liam. See who would win. I don't know how we're gonna do it. I don't know if there's like a website somewhere that people can like write down their answers. I guess they could just write it in Paint and then print screen it and send it to me and I'll bring it up on the stream. I know it's basic, but it doesn't need to be good. It's just for a meme, innit? So, what's Kahoot? So I might do that tomorrow, I might not. It sort of depends on if I can get anyone involved or not. It's wrangling cats and I just fucking hate doing it. In case you hadn't picked that up from earlier on. Yeah, so we'll do a game vote tomorrow. Hi, Ilarian. And also, bye, Ilarian. Dude, it's an online quizzing thing. Oh, but I meant I need a thing that lets me just write stuff down and reveal it. Let's say everyone reveals it at the same time. Thank you for the stream and sharing everything with us. Thank you for the cold hard cash. That's the bitter exchange. Yeah, we did some therapy. We watched some TikToks. We had some nice conversation today. This is fine. And tomorrow we'll do a game vote and we'll get on with a new game on Wednesday. We'll just mess around a bit more tomorrow as well. D&D tomorrow night. I might stream some PUBG tonight. I guess we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna go and eat this 4-day-old mince chili. Day 4 in the Bradwater house. He's got some chili. Oh, Ratch is probably not going to want to continue streaming, so let's force him to do that. I'm going to put loads of butter in it while it cooks to try and make it less dry. So you've got that to look forward to as well, Toodle. I know you're getting older. Just add butter to make it less dry. And I'll see you tomorrow for the game vote. Sorry I didn't do the game vote today. I know some of you are like only here for that. But we'll do it tomorrow. Same time. Jesus. What? Toodle's a really good cook. Toodle loves cooking things. It was a joke about cooking. It was a joke about cooking. How did you make dry chili? I didn't. It's 4 days old. It's been in the fridge for 4 days. Wait. I've been eating it for every meal. I've been eating it for every meal I made 4 days worth and I've been eating it twice a day for 4 days. Like Stephen. Because some of us ain't made of money. Okay, bye.